Well, the Calgary Flames, first game back after a road trip, for about 15, 20 minutes, it looked like, you know what, this whole thing about the first game, they took care of that. They're ready.
I was sure they watched the barn burner today, Dino. The boys came fired up, 75 seconds in. Your captain sets up a first goal, buzzing, living life in the Rangers' end, and there you go.
Yeah.
These are the hardworking fellas we missed in Detroit and Columbus.
3 straight defeats.
Well, I mean 4 if you include the overtime setback.
But there was a Buffalo win in there.
No, you're right.
There was a Buffalo win,
defeats,
so then it was Columbus, Detroit.
No,
and
you're
now
right. It's 5 of 6 they've
the
lost.
New York Rangers.
It's not
at the Dome tonight. Welcome to Afterburner.
God
it's
damn it.
Boom and Pinder here.
I was 2-0.
At the Greagle.
I had the Winnipeg and the Buffalo.
We're here at the Stage Bar at the Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. GreyEagleResortandCasino.com is the website. Go and check out the event center's always humming. They got stuff going on there. The Halloween Howlers coming up on the 28th. And whatever. There's playoff baseball, there's hockey, whatever it is. Stage Bar was thumping again tonight.
Yeah.
Happy to be here. Thanks to the Greagle for.
Who was our wonderful server? Was she not the most pleasant
sure.
human
She's
you
very
interacted
pleasant.
with today?
Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was a sweetheart. So I liked the start. I liked it. It was clear that there had been some attention to detail, that there had been some sort of a conversation, that they came out with purpose, because they looked far better than they did against Detroit, and I would say even better than they did against Columbus. They were ready to go, got rewarded with a goal, and then they got Shesterkined a little bit, and I know we'll talk about that. But I didn't have a problem. It was, I think at the 15-minute mark of the first period, they'd given up 4 shots, and really were controlling the hockey game. They looked just fine.
Okay, so early on, you have the goal 75 seconds in. Walker Dewar nearly gets a breakaway pass. It's just out of his reach. Kadri dangles in just before that, cuts to the middle, and makes a gorgeous move. Kadri for the first period. That was one very good period from Nazem Kadri. To add to the... Well, it was one very good period for Nazem Kadri. Then he turned over the puck later. And then you got Zadorov, a backdoor pass to Osterley. Like, they had a bunch of chances early. I love that they scored, but against a team this good, and I think we are talking about a Stanley Cup contender. We are talking about one of the top 5 teams in the NHL with roster construction and how a lot of people are making their picks about who they like, a lot of skill. You had to get more than one in that stretch because you just knew you're not going to get chances like this all night against the Rangers. And for maybe the first time in his career, Igor Shesterkin was good against the Flames. And it was long overdue, and you knew it wasn't going to last. And I got burnt on my Betway bets of the day. But it was clear who was in the zone tonight, who had prior pooped his pants at the Dome.
He showed why
he was great,
regarded as one of the league's best. And I didn't really have a problem with Markstrom. The thing is, the first two goals that beat Markstrom, a redirect in front by Lafreniere, which is it's a nice play, and then that.
The Kreider goal.
Where is Kreider?
Dirty.
He's 2-3 feet off of the net and directs it nearly 90 degrees sideways. It's a beautiful goal. There's not much Markstrom was going to do. I really didn't have a problem with their game.
You just need to score more.
And then you can see it's a bit of a fragile team right now.
Yeah.
Then the Rangers started to pour it on and then slowly took over. Even though the shot clock didn't support it, it really felt like the Rangers were in control.
Once Kreider scored on what I thought was just a meh penalty that Zadorov for the hold, on the power play, it was like, okay, this is beginning to feel academic. Like, we know how this ends, and there's still a lot of things to happen, but we know the ending. This team right now does not have anyone that feels like a game-breaking talent and doesn't have a top line in the sense that if you, like, who is the most talented player the Calgary Flames have?
Yeah, we talked about it on the other show. When you need someone to pull you out,
who the hell is
of the fire? Who's it going to be?
Because I get that there's checkers and defensive players and hard-working guys, but when you just need a skilled player to make a move, like, I would say, okay, if we're looking at the hierarchy of these two teams, Adam Fox won a Norris in his second year in the league. I think it was the first time since, like, Leach or something stupid. Like, we're talking obscene talent. Trouba, one of the hardest hitters in the game. Okay, not so much skill, so maybe we leave him out of that. Zibanejad, like, on pace for 40 to 50 every year the last 2 or 3. Very
39, I
impressive
think, last
finisher.
year,
Panarin, incredible playmaker. And the year before with Zibanejad, he missed a bunch of games and still scored a ton. Panarin's an incredible player. And Chris Kreider, like, scored 52 years ago. Like, the best Flames player might be the 5th best Ranger. And, like, Hedl was excellent and has been against the Flames last year and has really emerged as a difference maker. And we haven't even talked about their goalie, who is, I think, the best goalie in the world. Like, he had an off year last year and was excellent. And the year before he won the Vezina, and I think is a guy that every year, like, if you go look at the odds, if you go shopping at Betway for Vezina futures, he's there. Like, is the most talented, the best Flames player, the 6th best Ranger? Who was going to win this thing for the Flames once the Rangers got the lead?
Yeah, and it doesn't even Rangers or whoever. The Flames are just, they're going to be in a tough spot every single night, it feels.
Yeah, well,
because they got 1 goal, and I was looking at it. They scored 2 against Detroit. They had 1 against Columbus. You take that, so they had 4 against Buffalo, but the goalie.
They scored 2, more than 2 once the whole road
2 in
trip,
regulation
and it was
against
Devin
the
Levi
Caps
was dog shit. So unless a goalie's gifting you stuff, it's not, the goals aren't going to come easily. And Weimer said it this summer, and it's like, I thought there's lots of gains to be made on the defensive side, and there are. Like, Markstrom's been a lot better. But who in the world can you put down for 30? And how many teams in the NHL don't have a 30-goal scorer? Yeah, it's a short list. And the Blues will come in, and they're not as good as the Rangers. And maybe Lindholm stacks up well against, like, who is it, Rob Thomas, their best player at this point? I don't know. Buchnevich is nice. Like, they're not untalented, but at least it's a more competitive fight. The Rangers are a cup contender, and it's clear at this point that the Calgary Flames are not, and you really got to squint to see a playoff contender.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you've got to squint for sure. We'll continue on. Greta is going to be our home away from home. We've got viewing parties already. We've got another one booked. We'll have details on Barn Burner coming up. Grab a cocktail, a little something from the menu, maybe something from the bar, let the games begin, or maybe get into the game yourself. Over 50 arcade games, from vintage to state-of-the-art. Load up your Greta game card with credits and get after it. Greta Calgary, located at 213 10th Avenue Southwest. Check them out online, gretabar.com. But yeah, it was the Darryl Sutter thing. It's a 2-1 league. It's a 2-1 league.
Yeah, not anymore.
It's not a 2-1 league, and even if it were,
two's tough for this group.
You are not playing sound enough defensively. And honestly, out of all the games that they've played, they lost this hockey game. I wasn't up in arms about this hockey game.
No,
they got beat by a very good team. They didn't give up a ton of
what
shots.
did.
At the end of it wasn't 20 shots on net. They were opportunistic, were the Rangers. The scoring chances that they had, there were some good saves by Markstrom, but really at the other end of the Hollywood or the highlight reel saves, it was Shesterkin who made them.
4 or 5 post-to-posts. We were thinking about it. Coleman twice on the one play. Another one on Huberdeau.
So it's hard.
Late on, like, there's...
Because there was enough here where you could have stolen, snuck out a win, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But when you've lost this many in a row, or you're at this spot where they're at, which already for 7 games feels pretty bleak. This is a hard one to take.
If this is game 2 of the year and you'd just beaten Winnipeg the way you did, and you're like, look, they tightened up defensively, and tip your cap, you'd live with this. But when it comes on the heels of losses in Columbus and Detroit and now at home, it's a tough spot to play the Rangers. First game back, they weren't bad, but God, do they feel like they're missing anyone with high-end skill right now.
It's that micro.
Yeah.
Could have won tonight.
Yeah.
You got a game coming up in 2 nights, get a win there. It's early in the season, that sort of thing. But when you look big picture, I said it to you when we were watching the game, they had the best line in hockey 2 years ago. And right now,
they don't have a top line.
They don't have a top line
Yesterday,
at all.
It was Ruzicka, who was a healthy scratch last year, and a rookie that was playing at Harvard last year with Elias Lindholm. And tonight, it's a guy that was centering your 4th line 2 games ago on one side. Huberdeau, who looks like, I mean, if you put the number 70 and Austin Zarnik's name bar on there, like, is that any different?
I said that to you. I don't really even know how to approach Jonathan Huberdeau because he is so inconsequential.
Yeah, it doesn't
to a
matter.
win or a loss or anything. I feel, in a weird way, I kind of feel for him because he has to be wondering, where did my game go? I was a 100-point player.
Points is baffling.
I was an all-star. I was a star forward in this league. And right now, I'm now into another season where I don't know where my game has gone.
I don't know if you'd only seen him in a Flames jersey, how could you even imagine 82 points? Never mind. You've got another 33 points to get to 115. Like, how the fuck can he do that? This guy?
No.
Turnover machine, soft on the puck, loses every puck battle, like low percentage pass all day trying to be pretty. What are we doing? And I feel for him because when you sign that deal, which is your agent's job to go get you max value, there are expectations that come with it. And those are going to cripple him because he is not anywhere near a $10.5 million player. If you put another name bar on him, what's he making? 3 max?
Honestly, I don't
it's
even
like
know.
Maybe we build a third line that can score and sucks defensively and he can play on that. What's that guy worth? Like, he feels like a power play specialist and he's not even good at that yet.
There's nothing in his game right now that has a whole lot of redeeming quality. He's not a great passer right now. There's not a lot of speed. He's shooting his shot. I guess he had a goal the other night that got disallowed, but I weirdly feel for this guy who's got to just be.
It's going to be rough
as to what's going on with his career.
There's 7.9 years left on that deal. That is so long. I will be 50. Like, what? Close to it. Like, that's. Are you going to be alive when that thing's over?
No
like,
chance.
You're fucked.
Yeah.
He's fucked.
You know what's going to be great, though, is coming up in January, we are going on a barn burner vacation. We'd love you to come with us. Go to nationgear.ca. We announced it this morning on the other show. We are off to Phoenix.
Oh, baby. I'm excited about this.
Jan 11 to the 13th. We're going to watch the Flames and the Coyotes at the Mullet Arena.
Yeah.
And we've got flights, we've got hotels, we've got game tickets.
That's all you need.
Packages are available, $14.99 per person based on double occupancy.
Yes.
Limited numbers available. We don't have a whole the Nation Network jet doesn't have a lot of seats on it.
There's only so many seats.
Yeah, so
get yours now.
I know that we sold some already today. They've been
Yes,
going.
I heard for some people.
Nationgear.ca is the website, and like I say, $14.99. Get on the plane. And that's the thing. It's January.
Yeah.
You'll want to get the hell out of here. It Flames and Coyotes. Yeah, we're going to go to the game. Maybe it's a playoff battle. Maybe it's not. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, I know.
It's Phoenix in January.
The Coyotes could be definitely knocking on the door for a playoff spot.
We'll see how that goes. Nationgear.ca. So go on to check that out. Now, we talked on the other show this morning. Free Sharangovich. He was freed.
Yeah.
The shackles were taken off. He was elevated all the way back to the number one line. I guess in there as well is Lindholm and Huberdeau.
Yeah.
Were reunited. And then Sharangovich was put up there. I don't know, is there any kind of a report card grade, or what did you see out of that line, or specifically Sharangovich?
Pocket picked twice trying to shoot, and I was saying to you, like, nobody would know Sharangovich better than the Rangers. They played a 7-game series. They played them a bunch in division the last 2 years, 3 years in the league. And every time he went in the zone, it was clear. He was trying to find space and load up a shot, and they didn't let him do it.
And right now, I wouldn't.
I don't think it's bad.
I don't even know for NHLers how much you play into familiarity. If you keep it in the blender, or you at some point you just stop. If you're Ryan Huska, I would just keep that line together.
Yeah, let him work,
because you know what everybody else is. You don't quite know what this guy is in this mix yet. Let him stay with the most skilled guys in theory on this roster. Dubé moves to the fourth line. It's
center. They're missing a fourth line center.
And then Ruzicka gets hit. He got clunked on the sideboards by
no good.
Jimmy Vesey, and he was concussed. You could see he was in a bad way. So
that could have gotten a minor pretty easily for boarding.
You would think. Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's where the game changes, but it's a soft call the other way that sets up the Kreider power play goal, and you're like, really? Zadorov put his hand on someone's hip, and that set up the power play game winner, and at the other end, the guys, could be gone weeks.
Yeah.
Like that could be a separated shoulder, that could be a concussion, that could be anything. Who knows?
You guys were watching the game as closely as we were, so hard to know, but it would seem like that's a guy that might need at least a game or two to get himself right. Now, A.J. Greer came out of the lineup tonight. Dryden Hunt comes in. So they have a guy. I don't know that they'll make a call to the farm, the Heat.
And the problem with the Wrangler call-up is that if this is a short-term injury and you can't put him on LTIR, you don't have any cap space to use. So you're in a really tough spot cap-wise trying to, like Connor Zary, 8 assists in 4 or 5 games, whatever it is. Great start, kid. Oh, bring him up. It might not be that easy. Now, if it is longer, if you can do 24 days or 10 games, the LTIR requirements, okay, he's clearly out for that. Now you've got some cap space, but all of a sudden it's like, okay, well, we didn't see the Shillington thing happening. Damn it, that's a bad time for a Pelche injury. The Rasmus Anderson suspension, not ideal. Now Ruzicka, who actually has been elevated through this lineup from 4th line all the way up to the top line, probably a disparaging remark on others more than how great he's been, but he's been good. Like, all of a sudden, you're really testing the depth. You're getting Gilbert and Osterley, and now you're going to have Greer and Hunt, in theory. You're really near the bottom of the – like, you're in players 23, 24, 25 in the organization here.
We talked a lot about it, that last year, of all the things that went wrong, the one thing they had was incredible health.
Yeah.
And it's already kind of abandoned them. Let's take a look at our Betway highlight of the night. Get the Betway app on your phone. Betway, our buddies at Betway, taking care of you. As you can go on there with the Betway app on your phone. It's, there's some hockey games, some baseball games, and you can have some fun. But bet the responsible way.
There's cricket games, there's Aussie rules, there's darts. You can wager on anything.
Yeah, let's take a look. The highlight of the night coming from a member of the New York Rangers, as Igor Shesterkin. Great save.
Two.
Coleman
he
had
loses
already
the stick and he leaves the toe right out there.
Already made it 1-0. Was going for his second of the night. Shesterkin with a great push to his
early
right.
on.
And
At 2-0, you feel like the Flames. Okay, this is a different game here.
Drops the stick. Is that a penalty?
No, if he throws it, it is. Yeah.
All right. He was good.
Really good.
Igor
and if you were,
was good.
Look, it's funny. It's like, that guy was in the Eastern Conference. You're like, I didn't see Huberdeau a lot in Florida. You don't see a lot of Florida games. Maybe you watched a Battle of FLA playoff series against Tampa once, or it's like, they brought in Sharon Govich. Who's that? I confused him for Siegenthaler when the trade was made because it's like S alphabet soup.
It's a lot of letters.
Vowels.
Yeah.
Played for Jersey.
Yeah.
This is a guy. If you'd only watch him when he played against the Flames, you're like, he's being paid politely to play net, or this is a backup. And tonight was finally a viewing where you're like, that. I can understand why someone could tell me that guy's the best goalie in the world.
Yeah, he was pretty
right there,
good.
2-0 or 1-0 still, and with the way the Flames are scoring goals, keeping them at 1.
Betway, get the Betway app. Betway, they're going to treat you right. Our buddies at Betway. Thank you, Betway.
Bet the responsible
way. How you doing, Betway? Bet the responsible way with Betway. DoorDash. Talk about people that are taking care of you. It's our Hungry for More segment. DoorDash.
We did get more that we'd asked for.
We kind of did. Ordering is easy. Just open the DoorDash app, choose what you want, from where you want, and when you want it, and it'll show up at your doorstep. And for a limited time, our listeners and viewers, hello, you'll get 25% off and 0 delivery fees on your first order of $15 or more when you download the DoorDash app and enter the code NATION25, NATION25. Put it in there. 0 delivery fees, 25% off on that first order. That's a win
right there.
That is a win. So hungry for more with DoorDash.
We'd asked for more Sharon Govich, and we got it tonight.
We did.
They're listening, and thank you, Flames. I still want more of that, but we should probably go elsewhere.
I'll say it again to keep hammering on Jonathan Huberdeau. I'm not sure what more there is there.
Yeah.
For me, it was I wanted to see Sharon Govich elevated. We did talk about it on the other show, and I think just keep him there. I don't know that he's the answer, but I don't know where there are answers on this team.
I don't know that he's not the answer either, right? That's what you want to figure out.
The bottom line is it's an offensively challenged hockey club.
Yeah.
And this is a guy who has a good shot and some speed to his game. And maybe a guy like Jonathan Huberdeau can help bring that out a little bit. Okay. Maybe they can help each other. So in a way, I was happy to see Sharon Govich move up. So I'm hungry for a little bit more. Continued with Sharon Govich.
I'm hungry for more Mark Savard getting some practice time because this power play has struggled. 0 for 4 tonight, 1 for 19 on the road trip. So you're telling me they're 1 for their last 23? I could use a little more work on the power play at practice.
Yeah, the last 3 games, so now this is 4. It's I think it's.
And they
4
shuffled the
straight.
units again. We saw Coronado back up there with Kadri, Huberdeau, Lindholm, and Hanifin, of course, a big change because Rasmus Anderson, who runs power play 1, still suspended and will miss the St. Louis game on Thursday and the Outdoor Heritage Classic game in Edmonton on Sunday.
Hungry for more with DoorDash? Remember, Nation25, Nation25. That's that promo code that you need for 25% off your first order with DoorDash. Offer valid in Canada only. Subject to change. Terms apply. Dash that for the win.
Dash that.
It's DoorDash. Yes, and that was the other news that came down today. Rasmus Anderson, 4-game suspension. Gary Bettman said,
Yeah,
4.
it's 4 because the guy I hired to do suspensions, guess what he said?
He said it was 4.
And he's my expert. Like,
And
I
he's
didn't
my guy.
play. He was a tough guy. His job is to hand out suspensions, and he did a lot of work on this. And his whole team, they came together and said, this should be 4 games. And so when you asked me, should it be 4? Well, yeah, those are the guys I hired to do that.
Yeah.
I'm the commissioner. I don't have time to do this shit.
Did you want to ask one more time? So it's still 4 games.
Yeah, still 4.
Yeah, it's going to be 4 games.
Oh, the 4th game's outside? Inside? Outside?
That's what. Yeah, Gary
I
said.
don't
I don't
care.
know if you read.
Yeah.
There was a long kind of thing. He said, "I don't give a shit." Was what Gary Bettman
Wow,
said.
Gary, salty.
Very weird.
Watch your mouth.
He's
you
a
sailor.
lawyer. He's usually so good with
I know, polished.
the vernacular.
I don't give a shit.
Oh, is it outside?
Yes.
I don't give a shit. That sucks for Rasmus. I mean, it was a dumb hit,
Yeah, it was.
but he's got to miss the outdoor game.
The context of it really is dumb. How much time's left? A second?
Yeah.
Like, I get you're frustrated, bud, but how much have you hurt your team here? I don't need to see Osterley and Gilbert on the ice at the same time, and you've made me do that twice.
And what would Line A have said to him? Maybe he said something to him.
Oh, gosh, that's not very nice.
He's very soft-spoken, Patrick Line. I can't imagine what he would have said that would have gotten.
It's a Swedish Finnish thing, I'm sure.
What is Amo?
Oh,
is he here?
Here.
Prick.
Let's see. Yeah, there he is down there.
He is here.
This, dirty prick.
Guy's chirping.
I think he thought
Trying
he
to
might.
do a fucking show here. For Christ's sake. Anyway, so yeah, the other part of it is too could use Rasmus Anderson. He's a good player.
Well, this is my point.
Take away the fact that it'd be fun to play outside. Whatever. They could use their arguably best defenseman at this point.
They could use about 15 minutes less of what they got from Jordan Osterley tonight. He looked a little.
And that's
stage fright.
He's Jordan Osterley, right? That's what what he is. He's not new. He's been around the league and outside of the league for a while.
When they brought him in, he was going to be a 7-8. And then Shillington shows up to disappear again, and you hope that he can come back and be the player that we saw 2 years ago, but it's a while ago now. And then Rasmus gets suspended, and here you are. And like, geez, if you had an injury now, like, what are we looking at here? Oh.
Yeah, it's not...
not the best.
It's not ideal.
Broccoli and pork, not the best.
I'm okay with the pork and broccoli. Do you put the cheese in your broccoli?
You could do the lemon butter.
I feel like it's cheating.
You can roast it and put some seasoning on there.
Yeah.
You can do the cheese. Cheese is going to be the best.
Village Honda on board with Barn Burner. Of course, they bring you the Pinder report every single day. And on Afterburner, they bring you the road ahead. Village Honda, located in the Northwest Auto Mall. They're your dealership for life. Visit them online at villagehonda.com. The all-new vehicle pricing is MSRP. New Honda stock on the ground. More arriving daily. If you don't see what you like, go in and say, hey, I was wondering, where would I get one of these? They're part of a dealership group. They're going to find what you need.
That's right.
They're going to take care of you. Your dealership for life is Village Honda, and they bring you the road ahead.
All right, so it's 4 games in a row in Alberta, which kind of sounds like a homestand, but I'm tricking you a bit. This was the Rangers tonight at home. They'll play St. Louis 7 o'clock on Thursday. Normal start time. They're not doing the America-only Frozen Frenzy. On
What a
Thursday.
frenzy it was. I was frenzied.
It was funny because there was such a media push, and all the broadcasters are talking about it. It was like, oh, we aren't going to get this.
We can't wait to see it. So where do we find ESPN Plus? Well, we don't.
Huh?
Oh.
Ah.
And you know what? Gary Bettman was asked about it, and he said, I don't give a shit.
Right. Yeah. Again with the.
Yeah.
Was Gary having cocktails somewhere in
Oh,
Manhattan?
he's right
today?
into it. Yeah.
He doesn't usually do that.
Crantini's.
Yeah, there you are.
Buckled.
Thursday, St. Louis, 7 o'clock. It's a 5 o'clock start for the Heritage Classic in Edmonton, and then they return home.
Off for a couple.
I'm sure it'll be, like off
Dallas.
days and then someone soft. Oh, yeah, the Stars, who everyone has as a cup contender.
Yeah, that's the thing. And you've talked about it. We've kind of talked about it. There's been some, and the Flames were a non-playoff team, but also they've played some non-playoff teams.
Tonight was the first, Winnipeg did make it.
There's going to be a gauntlet of teams coming up here in the month of November.
They played 7, and only 2 of them made the playoffs last year. That ain't going to keep going that way. There's going to be a lot of playoff teams on the docket from last year. And I get it, there's change every year. And absolutely, Detroit could be a great team this year, and Pittsburgh could be revitalized. Dallas is good, and we're good. And you'll get a couple days after that outdoor game. I guess the only good news is that, I don't know if there's been a lot of times the last 2-3 years you want to play Edmonton, but right now would probably be the best time to play Edmonton.
Although there's, again, reports maybe McDavid is back.
Don't put him outside.
The weekend.
How risky would that be? Are you really?
Well, they lost again. Minnesota
Oh, God.
comes back and beats the Oilers, so it's
3-2 Oilers, and they lose 7-4.
there is no happiness in Alberta with their hockey
No.
teams right now. There is none.
Somebody reports, I'm hearing, somebody could even win that outdoor game between these two clubs. Possible.
Gary doesn't give a shit. That is the road ahead, a presentation of Village Honda. Good friends of ours, great sponsors, great partners. We would appreciate it if you'd support our sponsors, Village Honda. They're tremendous people. Anthony and Tanya and all the staff up there do everything they can to make your vehicle buying experience a positive one. And we've talked about it before. They've got the get your car detailed up there.
Sure.
They've got when they built that whole dealership, they really invested big time in their wash bay and they have a very
Service on
fancy
as well, yeah.
setup in there. Service it.
Get ready for winter, would you, Dean?
Yeah,
I don't know if you noticed, it kind of attacked us in the last 48 hours.
it kind of did.
24.
It's cold out, boys. There's Pike Bomb. Pike Bomb, it's cold out, boys. Thank you,
Bomb.
Pike.
Thank you.
Pike Bomb. Pike Bomb. But what do you do on a chilly night? You know what you do? You get one of those short tumblers. Put some ice in there and a little bit of Crown Royal, and you give it one of these.
Fireplace?
Click, 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 click.
Put an album on?
Yeah, whatever you want to do.
Sure, okay.
Yeah. One of these. Because it's about generosity. Generosity comes in many forms. Lives in the small things. It doesn't need money or an audience or even acknowledgement. It just needs a few good people. Crown Royal. Crown everything.
It doesn't take $1 million donation or name on a hospital wing. This is where generosity lives.
See, that was you earlier. You were flooding the outdoor rink there, and
It's
one of
it's
your
flooding
buddies
season.
came and brought you a tumbler of Crown Royal.
It was definitely that without the flooding.
Just standing outside.
No, inside. But
Oh, all right. Yeah, fair enough.
If we get rid of that snow, we can start flooding, Dean. We got to get that snow off. Tarps are down. The sand's been leveled. We're ready to go.
Depending on where you're watching, treacherous times here in Calgary today. Very treacherous times. Care and caution, people. Care and caution on the roadways, the highways and the byways. Do take care and caution. The outdoor game is coming
Sunday.
People are getting pumped for it. There's obviously a lot of people from here are going
fun.
up. It's and
If you told me the Flames and Oilers had combined for 3 wins at this point, I think
it's a friggin' big game.
you'd be like, wow, the Oilers are 3-0.
It's a big game all of a sudden. But you strip it all away, and you go back to the playoffs a couple years ago, the Battle of Alberta.
Yeah.
It was such an amazing time for the province and for hockey fans here to finally have those two teams. The series, for one side, really didn't live up to the hype, unfortunately.
Well, there's going to be one next
But-
year, though. Don't worry. This is just the next It's back. It's the BOA. Every year we're going to see these now.
It's going to be a great experience.
What a series it'll be.
A great atmosphere as you get outside, and there will be plenty of Flames fans and plenty of Oiler fans, and it's nervous energy. Both teams need wins. It's going to be a fun one.
I'll say this. If you could somehow, some way, get through the Blues, who are not a cup contender, who are very much a team I'd put in the same box as the Flames before the season started. If things go right, they could get in. If things don't go well, they're probably on the outside looking in. if you can get through them, a win in Edmonton would feel quite monumental. It would have you at 500 and maybe more exhilarating to think of the hole the Oilers could be in to start the season. Not to suggest that they'd be in any sort of trouble that the Flames look like they're in at this point. The Flames don't have a McDavid they can insert in the lineup. They don't have a Draisaitl.
Oilers don't have a Markstrom right now.
Yeah, and
Is part of
so,
it too, so.
I don't think you'd suggest the Oilers to be favorites at that game, especially if McDavid doesn't play, but that would feel like a big win. That could, in theory, get you feeling right if you're Ryan Huska at 500 through 9 games.
Are you taking your, because it's about, with Alberta Blue Cross, of course, we're making, it's Alberta Blue Cross memorable moments. Are you taking your boys to father-son outdoor games for some memorable moments?
Yes, not to Edmonton to watch the Flames, across the street to the outdoor rink, but those less memorable. I should have thought of this.
Yeah.
I did see the price tag. There's seats available.
There are seats
available. I did
available.
get the email today.
And the thing is, you're very popular. You know a lot of people.
I do know a lot of people. I'm not sure about the popular people.
I would think that probably you'd be able to pull this off, to take your young boys, who are twins, by the way.
At least one of them is. I always forget the second.
Yeah.
But one's for sure. I think the other might be as well. They would like it. We're not quite there. We've done some no candy, no scream time, no dessert, early bedtime today.
Oh.
We had one of those episodes.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll take one.
Oh, you can't take one.
Well, the twin one or the other one?
No, the one that take the one that is a twin and the one that isn't a twin. You got to take them both. Think of the memories. Memories. Alberta Blue Cross, memorable moments. There's only one thing better than sharing memories, and that is making new ones. Guilt trip.
Yeah.
Alberta Blue Cross Travel Insurance
Yeah.
protects those memories and more wherever travel takes you. Visit ab.bluecross.ca/travel for more information. Alberta Blue Cross, celebrating life's memorable moments inspired by hockey. You never did give it even a sliver of thought, did you?
No, I was going to go with you, or I wasn't going to go.
Oh, boy.
And then your gout flared up, and it was the thing about Commonwealth, not close to your house.
It's so far
Can't
from my
walk.
house.
Yeah.
So far.
Like more than a tank of gas there and back.
Is it at McMahon? Because
No,
even then it's
God,
a stretch.
No. Yeah, no. It's not even at the old. No.
No.
What's the 4 rink plex you got there down south? That's a good one.
Yeah, it's only 2. Well, yeah, I guess it is far. You know what? That's people don't give a shit. Gary doesn't give a shit, and you don't give a shit.
Watch your mouth, Gary.
Yeah, watch your mouth. With the chat. We got
What's
a lot
going on
of
in the
people. We got a lot of
comments here?
people. We appreciate you being part of Afterburner here.
Thank you, fellas
On the
and gals.
YouTubes, the Facebooks, wherever you're chiming in.
Pinder,
watch
don't
along.
subject your boys to this steaming pile of ground.
Oh, jeez, come on now, guys.
It's been a tough opening.
I don't know if Jack has been keeping Daryl.
Daryl, you got to stop watching our show. I know you got a lot of free time. You should be on an island. Honestly,
Daryl Sutter chiming in. Maybe it wasn't the coach after all. Maybe hey, maybe it wasn't.
maybe there was multiple things happening.
Maybe.
Because I wouldn't mind taking a look at Matthew Phillips this year on this roster.
From Cube, watching on YouTube, Aussie Brad would play with more heart than Hubie.
I don't have any
Wall.
doubt of that. It's just the skill gap is significant.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Do you think
Aussie
Aussie Brad
can skate?
Yeah. This from Killam Mr. All. Iginla could suit up tomorrow and probably finish with as many points as Huberdeau or Kadri.
He's in the org. He's just busy coaching his kid this year. Next year we could do an Iggy sub.
Iggy's in New York?
He's in the org.
Oh, in the org. I thought you said he's in New York.
No, it did sound like that one.
Yeah. This team sucks. Genuinely not a cohesive unit, just a collection of players with zero will to win.
I mean,
or play for each other.
I see a lot of bottom half of the roster guys that are trying. Like you don't hold the Rangers to 20 shots tonight if you don't have the ability to work hard. But there is no top end skill here. Jokes aside, who could you write down? Guarantee this guy gets you 30.
It has to be a sickening feeling for the coach and to be on that bench when you are now trailing. You get behind in a game, and the deficit is one, and then it becomes two. How in blazes are we going to find a way
Blazes.
to get these goals?
Gordie
'Cause
Howe and
there's
Blazers?
none. They had the best line in hockey 2 years ago.
It feels
and
like
then,
a million years ago.
because you thought this trade that you had for Huberdeau, you thought you were replacing a 100-point guy with a 100-point guy.
No.
Except he's...
You did think that, though. You're right.
And a
It
lot
made
of
some
people
sense.
did.
They had the same number of points that year.
And it has gone so poorly. So now you are left with the center from that line, who has... It's a different cast of characters every time he goes onto the ice.
He's had 5 new line mates in his last 3 games. They're rolling everyone through.
Oh, I know, yeah.
Right, Rosie, you're a top liner. Coronado, you're a top liner. Sherrigovich, you're a top liner. You're back up here, Huberdeau. Let's go. Magipani, you're playing with me. What are we doing here? This is a full blend. Like Huska's Smoothie Co. There's your venture, and I don't blame them. But this is what's going to happen. We see the comments. Well, I thought Darryl was the problem. Okay, well, there were a lot of problems last year on the ice and off the ice, and with player performance, and with coaching, and with the GM. To be fair, there wasn't one problem, and we consistently said that all offseason. But it just felt like this group never had a chance if Darryl was going to come back.
Coaches sometimes get to a point where it's just the time has come.
Yes.
And Darryl, it has nothing to do with his ability as a coach. It's just his way of coaching. And it won him 2 cups. It won him 2 cups. He's a Hall of Fame coach. I do believe he is.
Yeah.
And I don't begrudge him for not changing his ways. Who's going to tell him to do things different? He's one of the winningest coaches ever. So.
And part of this, though, is that, Darryl was working with less than we thought he had.
And the thing of
but
it is...
the other thing was, like, if you got this kind of group, why the hell aren't you at least trying some kids? Like, you can't absolve Sutter here.
No.
But I think he also, at the same time, is like, I thought he had more to work with.
But with this team right now, God himself could be behind the bench.
Oh, exactly.
You are very limited with how many mistakes you can make given your goal scoring issues.
Okay, there's a comment from Northie. He says, Calgary, the place where aging players come to sign their retirement contracts. Blake Coleman, Huberdeau, Kadri. We've seen it before. It was a Troy Brouwer. It was a Dennis Weidman. There's a lot of guys that came here late in free agency, and I get it. When you're not great and you don't have a lot of prospects, you go sign guys in free agency. How are we feeling about a Noah Hanifin extension? If it's going to be around market rate, max term, that's 8 years, call it 7-ish, if this group already is committed to Uyghur, Huberdeau, Kadri, long term.
And I don't
get it.
I don't have a problem with the Uyghur contract. It's the other two, obviously. It's the Kadri and the Huberdeau. I just at what point do you?
Why? Like what for? What's Noah Hanifin helping you accomplish over the next 8 years? Because by the time you're good again, he is old. He's not yet, but in years 6, 7, 8 of that deal, he's going to be in his mid-30s.
I see both sides. I really do. Depending on what the term, because I think you could give him a max term even.
Well, I think he's getting max term.
He's going to be a fine player even at the end of that. You need players to play in the National Hockey League. The cap keeps going up, and I don't think he's an $8 million defenseman. I don't think he's a $7 million defenseman.
And I don't even think he's that, to be fair.
I think
Devon Taves just signed for $7.25. He is so much better than Noah Hanifin.
Yeah, I don't really have a problem with it, but I do kind of see your side.
Like, what are you doing here?
But the thing is, they aren't going to strip it bare, ever.
Well, I mean, until it's so obvious that you can't ignore it, they don't rebuild. And Jay Feaster was here when it was so obvious that they did. And they did the thing that they said they'd never do, which was trade Jerome McGinley. Because it was so obvious and in front of the owner's face that he was like, okay, we have to do this. And it has to get bad and so bad that you can't spin it. If you lock into Noah Hanifin you're making things worse, not better, because it's not about Noah Hanifin not being a good player for many of the next 8 years after this one. So like 8.5 years if you sign today. It's that if you take this guy to market at the trade deadline, this is a very attractive asset. For all the reasons why he would be a good guy to re-sign are all the reasons contending teams should give you young players and prospects for him when he's only owed $1.75 to $2 million, and you can eat some, and he's basically for free and here for a championship run and a test drive with a contender.
The thing of it is, though, you put yourself in a bit of a spot where you're obviously then dealing with only playoff-bound teams, and you need to hope that they have a need for a defenseman of that caliber and of that pay structure, and they like Noah Hanifin, and they're willing to give you the assets that you like. You may still be in a spot where you get there and you get a second and a third for Noah Hanifin.
I see almost no probability of that happening. And I see what you're saying. The offers weren't good this
Because
summer.
we thought
why would there be good offers in the summer?
Foley was going to be a first, and
it was the summer.
We weren't close, and
that was the summer.
But that was the league, the entire league.
Right, because A, no one wanted to give up their first rounders. It was an epic draft class, and B, everyone's hopeful about the year, but at the deadline, you know if you're a contender or not. You always get more at the deadline. Always.
But the thing is, you're cutting the league in half. You're cutting at least the amount of trade partners that you have in half. And then you can probably cut that in half because not everybody's going to want to give up those assets for a defenseman.
How many D-men better than Hanifin will move at the deadline? I think he's a top 1, 2, or 3 defenseman that is available this season. There will be 16 to 20 teams that believe adding him could very, very much change their ability to get a banner hung.
I don't disagree, but are 16 teams going to be willing to give up a first-round pick?
If you get 2 that really like him, that's all you need. A bidding war is necessary. They didn't have one this summer because they didn't move him ahead of the draft, and then everyone's cap space was full anyway.
Well, they tried.
No one had room for $5.5 million this year.
They tried to move him ahead of the draft, just no one was paying.
Yeah, well, who had $5.5 million this year? Nobody. But if you eat half, and
no
it's
one
like
was
$2
giving up
million
those
left.
picks. It was not about the money. It was not about
the money. It was about the money
were
and
you going
the
to get a
picks.
first-round pick, and no one was moving their picks.
Who has cap space that's a contender?
4.95 is not a ton of space. You could have made that work. If you're Craig Conroy and you can get a first, you make that work. I'll eat money. I'll do whatever.
Sure. But no one's in the pressure point where they need to give you a first. When you have a defenseman get hurt, there'll be more than a couple defensemen hurt off contenders this year. You will be able to move Hanifin at the deadline for a significant haul.
I tend to agree
guys
with
like
you,
him always have.
But I do. I tend to agree with you. But I don't. I think that's a risky game to play. I don't think it's as big of a slam dunk as you think. I really don't.
And look,
I think
you also run the risk of him. You run the risk of him getting hurt too. I see that. Like it is absolutely not a guarantee. I don't want to frame it as such. But what I can guarantee is that locking up Noah Hanifin for 8 years ain't hanging you a banner. And what are we doing here?
Yeah, I mean,
I think we agree with each other in a sense there. Is there risk taking him right to the deadline? Absolutely. Does the market collapse? Does he get hurt? The flip side is they have Hanifin now. Are they good?
Oh, I understand. I mean,
we got to keep this guy. Why? So you can finish 13th in the West? What are we doing? Go get a top 5 pick, not pick 11.
It's a conversation for a different show, I guess. But you think of where they were and how quickly you've gotten to this spot. It was about blowing up the core for so long. Get rid of the core.
God, you love that core
Monahan,
back.
Gaudreau, get rid of them. They can't win in the playoffs. And it's not a told you so, but we would say, careful what you wish for, because Johnny Gaudreau will bring people out of their seats and put people in their seats, and he's exciting to watch, and he has skill
all the time.
So is he Claude Lemieux playoff performer? No, probably not, but just be careful and be wary about it. And now he's not here, and neither is Tkachuk, and Bennett is gone, and Monahan is gone, and you have a handful of magic beans to show for it.
And not just very expensive magic beans for the next 8 years and 6 years.
And as excited as you can be about Pelche and Coronado, or even Zary, who's having a good run in the A, and maybe it's Poirier on the blue line.
Honzek down the road. Yeah, they're not here yet.
It's a little bleak.
Well, and who's your center? None of the guys you mentioned are centers. I mean, Zary maybe. But
we told you about this last week. Keep your ear holes open. We're going to have details coming up on Wendy's. Got a brand new contest coming up.
Ooh, daily face-off.
Little daily face-off survivor pool. Every day, sir, it's another round. So you go in each day and you pick some players. And if they get points, then you're staying alive.
Stay
then
alive,
you go to
baby.
Tuesday. Then you go to Wednesday. And by the end of the week, Wendy's is going to take some winners. Maybe you win a whole bunch of cheeseburgers. Maybe you win some other kind of prizes. Maybe you're going to go and test drive that new barbecue bacon cheeseburger.
No, baby.
Put bacon on it. I mean,
I like me a daily fantasy because if it doesn't go well, you know what? I'm reloading next
I'm going
week.
to start
too.
tomorrow.
I'll start a streak tomorrow.
Yeah, just start streaking. And we all love fantasy, let's be honest. Except your fantasy football, so, I mean.
I don't want to talk about it. I did get a couple game winners tonight, which is very helpful on the Frank the Tank, the pizza man always delivers. Frank Vetrano, OT winner, and Braden Point, game winner.
Right.
I know you. Yeah, riveting stuff.
I'm talking about your football.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that. I told you.
How many points did you get? I've never seen.
Still don't want to talk about it. 33.
33 points. Like did you have two players that had negative points on your team this week?
Deshaun Watson had negative points. And another guy gave me 0.00, that asshole. Fuck.
Wendy's.
Daryl, I need you to coach my fantasy team. You come in, tear a strip off these. See you next Tuesdays.
So we are happy to have Wendy's on board. Yes, coming up, it's going to be the Wendy's Daily Face-Off Survivor Pool. Details on when we're kicking that thing off, where to find it, and all of that coming up
33
in the
points.
next couple of days. There you go, Canadian Spoon. The
He's right.
Baconator is always the right decision. It's a good one.
Is that still a limited time thing?
No, Baconator, that's
is it full time now?
pillar to post
God
every
bless
day.
him. Because when it was, it's like, why are you doing this to me? Don't take this away.
No, it's that
I need this.
that bacon mushroom melt.
That's the one. Yeah,
It's only
What do you mean limited time? I'm here every day.
it's like a cheese sauce. It's not a cheese slice. It's
no.
a sauce, and in that sauce they've got the portobello mushrooms, and then they put it on with the bacon and the burger.
Can we get a bed to table 8? This guy's cooked.
So good. Any more questions there? We've been rolling a long time. With no rebuild in sight, Ian says, what can the fans even be optimistic about? I'm having a hard time. It feels like we all know this group can only ever be a playoff bubble team.
Yeah, even that through 7 games feels sketchy, but it is just 7. Like I say, it's you played a good team tonight, and you didn't really play that bad.
It's hard to paint that picture, right?
It's
but
true,
I do feel in the first period I was very impressed because it's the first game back after a road trip. They were ready.
Yeah,
they were ready to go.
Yeah.
They got a lead. They kept the Rangers
could have had 2 or 3
pretty much
early.
in check.
Yeah,
And then 2 very fortunate redirects. Not to say that they were lucky. I mean, that's high skill.
High skill, but you don't make 10 out of 10 either of those.
And
it's
then
probably 2 or 3 of each of those tips.
One kind of sneaks through Markstrom and goes in, and then it's 3-1.
That
and
just
then,
feels insurmountable with this group right now.
It's
3 goals, and then Shesterkin's going post to post all night.
So
I would say this: like, there's no rebuild in sight, but God, if you're last in the Pacific, or I'm sorry, like let's be honest, San Jose and Anaheim are in rough. If you're in their company, why wouldn't you field calls on Jacob Markstrom at the deadline? Why wouldn't you take calls on someone that we thought was going to be here, like Dylan Dubé, like Amanda Japani? Like, who's really off limits here if you actually decided to tear this down? Like, there's no franchise player here. I'm sorry.
Aside from
The
players
guys you can't trade are here. That's it.
aside from players having no trade clauses, which Markstrom would be one.
Yeah, and if you're sending them to like a contender,
no, you don't have
shit.
you don't have anybody who's
There's
an
no
untouchable.
franchise players here.
I mean, you're not trading Coronado, obviously. Yeah. You're probably not trading Pelche. But
So what you do is you collect a bunch of young assets, and look, they could be 500 by Sunday night, and you beat the Oilers, and God, that probably feels better than any 2 other points that exist in the NHL, beating your provincial rival, but it just looks pretty bleak right now.
Who cares if we make the playoffs anymore? Old thinking. We 100% aren't champions.
Yeah, I don't know what. No one's been Googling the futures Flames winning the Cup odds. I haven't
No,
been
but
hunting for that one.
Come on now. You see, I mean, you own a team. You're on a team. You got to put the team in.
Try.
You got to try. At least we don't have Deshaun. It's true.
Yeah,
I
have Deshaun. Hence the minus points.
There was some, I forget what part of his shoulder. There was some kind of skilly, scally, scrappily, Samson, slappy.
Swami.
And, it doesn't look good.
Scallops.
Something delicious.
Sarsaparilla? Sioux City sarsaparilla?
Scallops and scalloped potatoes, two different things. Both of them equally delicious.
Also
though.
sarsaparilla.
Yeah. Oh, sarsaparilla.
Sioux City sarsaparilla.
You know what? I almost forgot about the birthday boy.
You can't be doing that on a guy's birthday.
Dude,
you
just
prick.
forgot about Derek Newman of Newman Dean's Real Estate Group with CIR Realty. Buying or selling, let Derek do the work for you. Email him now.
Yeah,
now, this moment.
He might be in the bag. It's his birthday, but
dnewman@cirrealty.ca.
40.
Complimentary in-house home staging consultations. Low pressure, easy to work with, accountable and available. Whether it's your first home purchase or you've bought and sold many in the past, he's going to take the time to understand your goals. If you're interested in buying or selling your home, he's the guy. Good old Derek.
Older now. 4-0.
Hello, Newman. 403-619-6661, and he will make it easy for you. Derek Newman of Newman Dean's Real Estate Group.
Appreciate Derek and company being on for another year of Afterburner, and one of the more pleasant humans you'll run into.
That's right.
Just a great dude. He had a nice little 40th vacation he just returned from, and the fellas all wishing him happy birthday in the group chat today.
Happy birthday. How old's Deeper?
Deeper
he's
would
a
be
kid,
younger.
right?
Yeah, I remember we went to that 3-on-3 tournament, and there was guys much younger that were like, "Oh, you got Deeper! This team is sick!"
Yeah.
And it wasn't because anyone else was good; it's because we had Deeper.
Yeah,
Dirty
Deeper's-
mitts, filthy paws.
He's a great guy, wonderful family.
Yes.
He's overmarried, like a lot of us have.
God,
That doesn't make him bad.
Yeah. No, but kudos to him.
Yeah, he's overmarried. But a heck of a hockey player in addition to all of it.
Yeah. It's,
Sick mitts. Great mitts.
yeah. You know when the guys in the quadrant fly jackets are like, "Oh, Deeper's here."
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a player.
Are you? You're 20, right? You could qualify overage.
No,
Get
his junior eligibility's done.
Hitman? No.
He could play for one of the Sutters out in Bentley or
Bentley.
where's the other team now that they're coaching?
I don't know.
No, Bentley. Damn it. It was Bentley, and then he switched to the other team up by there.
BK Beaufort Liquor, located on the Trans-Canada Highway across from Huinsport, beside McDonald's. Stop in and stock up on your way out to the mountains. You can find them on your soch, at BK Liquor on Twitter, at BK Beaufort Liquor on Instagram. We have recently, we talked about it on the other show, we've joined up with Origin Brewing.
Oh, we're excited about this.
We might be posting up at Position A. BK Beaufort Liquor and having a little Origin party one of these days coming up here.
we're
Deeper
due.
doesn't even know about this yet.
I
but,
might run into him. He's keen.
Yeah, I bet he is. Yeah,
You know him. Anything we do, he is on board. If you want a good teammate, Deeper is the guy.
Yeah, he's a sweet boy.
Anything we do, God bless him. Dumb stuff, too.
Yeah, that's
He's just, whatever we say, he's yeah, man.
yeah, that's kind of how that goes. Thanks to everybody here at the Grey Eagle Resort and Casino for hosting us tonight. Go to nationgear.ca, book your spot in for that barn burner vacation,
Yes.
the Nation vacation coming up in
3
January.
days, 2 nights. A little confusion. 2 nights in a hotel.
2 nights.
We're getting there on a Thursday. We're coming home on a Saturday. You get a Friday night
you
in
go.
Phoenix, and we got a Thursday game at the Mullet Arena.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. And again, with the Grey Eagle, go to the website. Always something going on here. They got their daily happy hour. They got the stage bar. If it's not us up here, they got live music. They all kinds of things. There's always something going on
Yes.
at the Grey Eagle. And then, of course, next door at the event center coming up, it's the Howleen Howler. That's just a couple days away. That's the next event coming up over at the event center.
Shine up your bats.
The old Howler. Tickets available through Ticketmaster, ticketmaster.ca. Be 18 years of age. And watch for our social.
Yeah.
Because we're going to have tickets to give away. We got a couple pair
Oh.
to give away. So we're going to get RJ or Jack or whoever does our social. I'm not even sure.
Bob Germany.
But we'll do the thing with the, hey, you got to like and you got to tag and you got to do the thing and then all that sort of thing.
You're pointing your finger a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. Flames fall to the New York Rangers at home by a score of 3-1. Igor Shesterkin, tremendous in this hockey game. Flames will try and bounce back and snap the 3-game losing streak against the St. Louis Blues coming up on Thursday.
Could we get a Bennington tantrum on speed dial for
Oh,
Thursday? God, that'd be good.
Yeah.
Even if they lose, I'd be okay with that.
He's a snap
You
show.
get a tantrum from Bennington? That'd be
Yeah.
epic.
If you could get some fans, if you're along the glass, get some good signs going.
Yes, please.
Just to kind of get them on, start twitching and shit right off the bat.
Fellas, over here now on the couch with Daddy. You see this up here? If you ever do this to me at the grocery store, you're out of the family.
Yeah.
I'll put you on Kijiji. 200, I'm paying. Get him out of here. You do
Very
this to
good.
me like Bennington, we're done.
Appreciate you, buddies. That's been Afterburner. See you Thursday.